All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, is expected to happen in this developing story, we're being joined by Ms. Nigar Murtazavi, who's an Iranian-American journalist and also a political analyst and editor and host of Iran podcast. She's joining us live on this broadcast. Now, Ms. Murtazavi, what we are, of course, expecting is some kind of an Israeli retaliatory strike on Iran, and it is not clear as to what shape and form this will take. But it must have the backing of the Americans. At this moment, considering that Joe Biden is a lame duck president, do you think he has an appetite for escalation for an all-out war with Iran?
Well, I don't think anyone, be a lame duck or not, has an appetite for an all-out war in the Middle East. This has been true for consecutive American presidents, both Democratic and Republican, after George Bush. So the President Obama, former President Trump, and Joe Biden. Now, being pulled into a war or stumbling into conflict is a different story. But there's certainly no appetite, no wide appetite among the American public or the policymaking community to enter full-on war with Iran. Nevertheless, this conflict in the region, which started from Gaza and has been expanding, has already expanded to multiple fronts in the region. And there's a very serious threat that this can expand even further, escalate, and turn into a direct conflict between Iran and Israel, and potentially pull the United States in, despite the reluctance of the White House and the administration.
But also considering the manner in which the Iranians were able to carry out the missile strikes, this seems to have changed the terms of engagement between, in terms of any future confrontation between Iran and Israel. With that being the case, at this moment, do you think Netanyahu would want to carry out a large-scale attack on any of the Iranian oil facilities or nuclear facilities? What is your assessment of this?
Well, I think the Israeli War Cabinet is interested in engaging more with Iran, or to escalate or essentially hit Iran harder. This has been their messaging from the beginning. In fact, it's been years that Benjamin Netanyahu has tried to persuade the United States to attack Iran or conduct major strikes on the country. But how hard the Israelis are going to attack Iran or to retaliate for the strike really depends on how much support they get from Washington. So far we heard from the president publicly saying that the United States won't attack Iranian nuclear sites. We still don't hear clear messaging from the administration on what exactly they would be supportive of or they would be on board. Back in April, when Iran and Israel had the tit-for-tat attacks, when Iran retaliated for Israel attacking Iran's consulate in Syria, and then Israel retaliated by attacking Iran, back then the U.S. drew a very clear line in the sand telling the Israelis that they would help them in defense, which they did, but that they wouldn't participate in offense. So this time, I think, again, the final messaging coming from Washington, either public or through back channels to Israel, is going to determine how severe the retaliation will be.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Nigar Murtazavi, for joining us and getting us that perspective there.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.